Hey everybody, John Foss, and I'm talking with Billy Bob Thornton about
Hey,
season
John.
3 of Goliath, which is now available on Amazon Prime. Tell us what we're going to see.
Well, season 3 starts with me still being kind of confused as to how I want to proceed with my life and who I am, and a lot of questions. And my daughter is now going to college like I wanted her to at home, and yet I'm offered a case that takes me up to Central California, and it deals with water rights and the big farmer against the little farmer, and it's a case that happens because of I get the case through an old friend of mine, and so it's a very surreal season, I'd say. It's got a lot of Hitchcock, David Lynch, a little bit of Chinatown, and some of the loose ends that weren't tied up in the second season still haunt me, and some of that comes back. So it's a very, very interesting season, and my favorite one to make so far.
So in the first season of the show, it's kind of a real feeling, like something that could happen in real life. But then in season 2, as you mentioned, it kind of becomes surreal, and then that continues into season 3. Was that a decision that you guys made throughout the process of this show, or was that something that was planned before the show started to start happening in later seasons?
Yeah, I think mostly after season 1. During season 1, we discussed it. Larry Trilling, who's directs all the episodes and is one of the producers, is terrific. Larry and I talked a lot about it with the writers, and we wanted to make sure that it didn't just stick to being a courtroom drama, because I think we've got plenty of those on TV. So we just wanted to make sure that this one would separate itself from that, and have, not only a lawyer, but a lawyer who's out in the field a lot, kind of combine, say Jack Nicholson's part in Chinatown with Paul Newman in The Verdict, kind of throw those two together. And the surreal nature of it is something that, it just started to kind of naturally happen. And when we would discuss things with each other, we'd tend to lean that way a little bit, so we figured it must mean something.
And last season when I talked to you, you also mentioned the Hitchcock connection, and right away here in season 3 we see The Crow, which reminds the viewer of The Birds. What is the Hitchcock connection? Is there somebody that's making this show behind the scenes that is a big Hitchcock fan?
Yeah, Larry Trilling and I are both big Hitchcock fans, and one of my favorite movies is Vertigo, and we've always mentioned that movie in particular as sort of a direction. Obviously it'd be a completely different kind of story, but just that vibe, that mood, Vertigo puts you in a very strange place, in your head. Every time I watch it, I always feel like I might have just taken something. I think Vertigo is probably my favorite. I love that. I love all of his stuff, but I would have to say I loved Vertigo. Rear Window's great also. I even used to watch the old Alfred Hitchcock Hour, which is back on TV again. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a great show. At the end, every show has a twist.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I'm in the Twin Cities right now, and a great film that was made right here that you were in, A Simple Plan. Tell us about that process and that experience. Right. Do you have memories of working here in the Twin Cities on that film?
Oh, sure. We shot it in northern Wisconsin and Minnesota, out in Delano, outside of Minneapolis there, and it was really great. It was obviously freezing cold, and the reason we started in Wisconsin was because that year you guys didn't have snow yet, and so we had to start up in Wisconsin. Then once you guys got the snow, then we moved down there. One of the things that was interesting is that there's a place there called the Electric Fetus, right? The record store.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I collect CDs and albums and everything, so I would go over there on the weekends, and I'd buy like 30 CDs at a time, and some of them I already had. 'Cause I'm such a like compulsive music buyer that I would just go in there and go, well, I've already got 3 copies of this Frank Zappa album, but I'm here, I don't have them with me. I'll get another one. So I kind of cleaned them out over at the Electric Fetus.
All right, well, I know that you're a big baseball fan. You almost went pro back in the day. A big Cardinals fan, I believe. And here in Minnesota, the Twins are hot. They just made the playoffs. Do you think they have any chance of
Yes.
making it anywhere in the playoffs? And what's your take? What's your prediction this year in the playoffs for baseball?
Well, yeah, I'm a born and bred a Cardinal fan, and really happy we're there. And it's been a weird season, and I got to tell you, I think anybody could win this thing. I mean, a lot of people are saying it's going to be the Dodgers and the Astros because they have the best records, but I'm not so sure. You never know. We may be up against each other, but I mean, honestly, I think it's anybody's to take this year. I think all these teams hit their stride at the right time. So I think anybody could take it.
Yeah, we might have a 1987 World Series rematch.
There you go.
All right, well, Billy Bob Thornton, thanks so much. And Twin Cities, make sure you check out Goliath Season 3 on Amazon Prime right now. Thanks, Billy Bob.
Thanks, John.